And welcome back, everyone, to the How We Doing PC series. My name is Ryan B. Hebert alongside Gerd. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. We had a great amount of people come through today, even though it's a small local. It was fun. Everyone seemed like they had a
Yeah,
great time,
yeah, it
and
was great.
yeah, now we're going to be entering finals.
Look, not to pat myself on the back, but I think we ran it pretty well. It was very timely, and we
Yep.
had a lot of fun, and everyone enjoyed it. But look, the players are about to kick off, so let's swap over to that screen, and let's take a look. Both these teams really interesting here. Jake is rocking the new standard. Okay, it's a great team. Chi Fluttermane, Gyarados Amoonguss, Iron Hands Tinglu. This basically the bread and butter of what is at the top of the ladder and what's been winning. Whereas Colding is using his tried and true team that they have been working on throughout the series. So I'm interested to see how this goes.
Yeah, and I saw both players lock in their Pokemon extremely fast. They know what they're going to be doing. They know the game plan. We're going to be starting finals here at the PC. We're going to be seeing Gyarados and Ting Lu for... we got to update the names real quick. But we got Jake on the player one side with Gyarados and Ting Lu. And Adrien Hurley is going to be rocking the Indeedee Armarouge again.
Yeah, this is an interesting lead for Adrien because size spam into Tinglu, it's like the one thing you don't want to see because of Tinglu's ability to weaken special attacking moves. And on top of that, you've got Gyarados, which threatens with a powerful water type Waterfall. And on top of that, it also has Taunt. So there's quite a bit here not going for Adrien in this first turn, but it looks like he's going to make a quick swap here to the one and only Dondozo.
So immediately going to the Dondozo here, and it doesn't seem like there's another switch. So no Tatsugiri coming in and immediately getting the Commander boost into the Dondozo. And we're going to be seeing a Terastallization to the Terra Grass for the Armarouge here. And let's see what's going to be happening. I believe the Gyarados should be moving first. So we're going to be seeing the Taunt. That would be going into the Indeedee, and now it is going into the Dondozo. Not going to be doing too much this turn. We're going to see the Energy Ball. The Terra Grass is going to be getting that stab boosted damage into this Tinglu that did not Terastallize. It's going to be doing just about half. Now we're going to be seeing the Life Orb chip, and then the Tinglu just going to go for a clean Earthquake.
That's an Assault Vest Tinglu taking an Energy Ball from a Life Orb Terra Grass Armarouge. And look at that. Look at that. Tinglu using Earthquake there with its partner Gyarados. Gyarados not affected by Earthquake because it is a flying type, my friend. Doing some chip damage onto Armarouge and Dozo, but not that much.
I like the Thunder Wave here because most of the time you don't want to target into the Dondozo's partner because of the threat of the switch in with the Tatsugiri. So you can always go into the Thunder Wave into the Dondozo slot pretty much for free. But we're going to be seeing the Lumberry coming out from the Dondozo. Obviously, Jake knew it was a Lumberry because of the open Team Sheet format, but still wanting to get rid of it anyway.
Yeah, and look, that was a great move right there from Adrien to cover for a potential swap in from Tinglu, and now a Wave Crash coming out and knocking out that Tinglu. Dozo, even though it didn't have any of the commander boosts from Tatsugiri, is still a really powerful Pokemon on its own, and is just able to wall Tinglu and Gyarados if you don't do enough pressure to it from the very beginning. So, looks like Jake has Iron Hands and Amoonguss in the back here, so he's really going to need to somehow get out the damage necessary to knock out some of the Pokemon on Adrian's side of the field.
But now the thing that's going to be a little bit scary is you're still facing an Armarouge, and most likely outside of Trick Room, you're going to be a little bit slower than it. So you still have to be a little bit careful of that. We are going to be seeing a Terastallization most likely coming out from the Iron Hand slot, because otherwise you're going to be taking an incredibly strong Expanding Force in the Psychic terrain. We're going to be seeing the Terra Grass here, pretty common Terra type. Grass or Fire are normally the ones that you're going to be seeing on Iron Hands, but typically it depends on the set. We're going to be seeing the Icy Wind, just going to do a little bit of chip damage, dropping the speed on both the Dondozo and the Armarouge, barely doing even anything with that special effective damage coming off into the Armarouge.
That's pretty big, though. Getting the Icy Wind off here, it means that Iron Hands is probably going to be able to attack first into Dondozo. And we see the Drain Punch come out, but it is not enough to knock out the Terra Grass Armarouge, but it's going to get a little health back from it.
Yeah, even still, like the HP investment that you would have into Armarouge is incredibly high because normally you don't want to invest in speed. You can invest in defense, obviously, but the base defense on Armarouge is actually pretty scarily high for an incredibly strong Mon. We saw the Rock Slide come through from the Dondozo. That's actually a relatively uncommon move. You normally see something like Wave Crash, Rest sometimes. Rest normally isn't as used now, but we actually have it on this Dondozo that Adrien has. It's a little bit of a untraditional set here, but interesting to see nonetheless. We're going to be seeing the Amoonguss switch in. That is going to be Jake's final Mon here, and now you still have the Iron Hands on, but you're extremely low, and you're not going to be getting that much healing back from the Drain Punch.
Adrien, I think, is feeling pretty comfortable here. 4 months on his side of the field, even though Armor Rouge is really on a sliver of health. I just want to make note that Expanding Force last turn was not a proportional amount of damage compared to what Jake tried to do. So honestly, you know, Armor Rouge is really putting in the work here. It's been on the field since the start of the game. And it started against a Gyarados and Ting Lu. Imagine telling somebody you started off with a Gyarados and a Ting Lu in front of an Armor Rouge. You'd go, oh, that thing must be gone, right? Right? No.
No, but perfect pivoting, having that Dondoza come out. You didn't even need the ADD. You definitely didn't even need the Trick Room. Just good pivoting and just good attacking from Adrien. And now we're going to be seeing an incredibly strong Expanding Force still in that Psychic Terrain. That is going to be picking up the one-hit KO onto the Damungus. And now we're going to be seeing the lonely Terragrass Iron Hands against the entire world. But because of the Life Orb chip on the Armor Rouge, it is going to be fainting, but you got to imagine that Tatsugiri is going to be in the back, it's going to be switching in, and you got a checkmate situation.
Talk about the world. Dondozo is about to become the world. You know, the stat boosts from Tatsugiri are about to rock Jake's world to the point where they're probably going to need to figure out a bit of a different game plan in Game 2.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard. Again, having to play against Adrian's team, like we mentioned, with the Lycanroc and Tyranitar core, you have the Dondozo and Tatsugiri core, and you have the Indeedee and Armor Rouge core. You have to be able to play against all of them, but you don't know which one your opponent is going to be playing unless you're experienced, but while playing Adrien himself or just playing against these amount of cores all in once. You're going to see the Wave Crash coming through. That's going to be doing super... not even super effective damage, just super damage through the Terragrass bulky Pokemon.
In fact, not very effective damage, but just due to the sheer amount of attack coming out from this 2 times boosted Dondozo, it is enough to knock out the Terragrass Iron Hands. And so that's a clean game 1 for Adrien here. But you know what? Do not count out Jake, my friends, because he's a well-established player. In fact, Jake, he's got so much credibility to his name. He's a really well-known guy in the community. And even won regionals in 2019 in Collinsville. We were just talking about that today.
In the Generation 7?
Gen 7, yeah.
Yeah,
we were talking about it. Was Moon series at the time on Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. It was a good time. It was a good time. Adrien, though, you know, he's a player that has always grinded online in a lot of the grassroots, but he's really started to make a stand coming to these in-person events, and it's really just been amazing to see both of these players and how they've been prospering in the new season. Adrien has been doing amazing, and Jake has also been doing great too. And so, you know, Jake's playing with a little bit of a safer team here, but as we saw in that previous game, you know, Colding's got a game plan. You know, Adrien knows what's up. Adrien, Colding, that sort of thing. He knows what's going on, and for Jake, on the other hand, you know, Adrien's team is not a common archetype, so it's something that, you know, he has to on the spot figure out, okay, how am I going to flowchart this? How am I going to figure out this game in a way where I can get a victory? And that's really the hardest part about this best of 3, and looks like Adrien's not going to switch it up.
Yep, it's a complete mirror of game number 1. Indeedee and Armor Rouge going to be coming out in Adrien's side of the field, and we're going to be seeing the Ting Lu and Gyarados coming in game number 2 on Jake's side. So normally, if you have an exact mirror of a previous game, you typically don't want to do the exact same move because you don't want to lead down the same path. So we got to see what's going to be happening. Maybe there's going to be a taunt into the Armor Rouge slot. Potentially we're going to see a Ting Lu going to go for a different attack into a Pokemon. Do you read the Indeedee switching out, or do you see it going for a Follow Me or a Trick Room here?
Yeah. It's, you know, sometimes it's kind of hard to predict these plays, and so that's why when someone says, oh, I just made the read, it's like, well, you know, having played against my opponent once or twice before, you start to kind of figure out how they're trying to think or how they're playing the game overall. Some people play more defensively, while some people like to take more risks. It's kind of just you know, a hand-in-hand sort of thing. Yep,
Follow Me going to be coming through instantly. Indeedee, it is going to be taunted, and I don't believe it has the Mental Herb. It has safety goggles on the Indeedee, so not going to shrug up that taunt anytime soon. The Expanding Force from the Armor Rouge is going to be doing tons of damage into this Gyarados. Going to be taking about half health, obviously because of the Ting Lu of the Dark typing. It is not going to be taking any damage at all, and we have the Earthquake coming in, going to be dealing a decent amount of chip damage to the Indeedee and barely doing anything against the Armor Rouge.
When you really think about it, Gyarados is actually a Pokemon that gives Adrien a lot of trouble in the back. Most of his Pokemon are physically attacking Pokemon. And so when you think about, okay, what Pokemon do I need to get rid of? Well, yes, Ting Lu threatens with chip damage and does, you know, some small things here and there. getting rid of Gyarados with 2 expanding forces like this is a fantastic way to clear the field from any further intimidate. So then Dondozo, here it comes in again, right? You get off another expanding force here if Gyarados stays in. Okay, so we see Thunder Wave coming out. If this does not cause paralysis on Armor Rouge, expanding force should be KOing this Gyarados right now.
Ooh, Heavy Slam, just going to do a decent amount of chip. You can't be continuing to use Earthquakes into a Grass-type Pokemon, such as the Armors into Terrestrialization. We're going to see an Energy Ball. That's going to be doing still so much damage with the stab affected with the Terrestrialization. Going to be doing so much, doing about half. And now the Dondozo is switched in. You still have the Armorers paralyzed. Now you're in effect where you have potential chances to get full paras. It's going to be a little bit scary because the Armorers did so much work in that game number 1. And one full para turn at the wrong time could spell doom.
It could. You know, Gyarados also has Icy Wind, but I'll let you know right now, Gyarados is not known for its special attack, okay? And so it's mainly a move just to lower the speed of your, opposing Pokemon. Looks like Gyarados is going to swap out there. We're going to have something come in here instead. It looks like Stingbug is coming on in. We're going to see Amoonguss coming onto the field.
Wave Crash coming through in the Dondozo. No Tatsugiri, and again, the same thing as game number 1. That is going to be picking up another KO. Tinglu is gone, and now this Armor Rouge has so much potential to do even more damage. Expanding Force is coming through, and that's going to be hitting onto the newly switched in Amoonguss side. Jake taking off the headsets, knowing this is a very bad situation. Now you have to somehow beat the Dondozo with likely the Tatsugiri in the back still. You have the Gyarados switching in. You have the Iron Hand switching in. But this Iron Hands doesn't even have the Fake Out. You couldn't even use it anyway because of the Psychic Terrain. So this is a very, 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 very bad situation.
Yeah, and when you knock out another Pokemon like that with Wave Crash before you use that Expanding Force becomes a single target powerful move in Psychic Terrain. I mean, that Amoonguss sadly was just not going to be staying on the field under those conditions.
Yep. Looks like Jake is just trying to find something. Armor Rouge is going to be switching out. Doesn't want to get that chance of a full paralysis. Obviously doesn't want to lose it quite yet because of the Life Orb recoil. Tatsugiri just going to be coming in. It is going to be activating the Commander Boost ability. Going to be going to the mouth of the Dondozo. Going to get the Omni Boost 2 times over. And now you're staring down Gyarados and a Iron Hand, and it's going to be very tough. You're likely going to see some sort of Wave Crash, I'd imagine. It's going to be doing, probably going to be KOing the Gyarados if I had to guess.
But, remember what I said, right? The game is never over until it's actually over, and so we're going to actually see Terragrass come out here, which is fantastic into this Dondozo. This Dozo is rocking Wave Crash, Rock Slide, and Terra Blast. And so that's pretty good news for Iron Hands, because it means that, there might be a chance here to do a little bit more damage. Although, okay, Gyarados surviving on a thread, T-Wave getting off. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of great development here. This could spell some good news for Jake. Like I said, never give up, because you never know how it's going to end up.
Yeah, but you got to remember the Lumberry is still going to be active on the Dondozo, so the paralysis is going to be clearing off the board, and the Dondozo is still going to be faster in this game. You're seeing a little bit of lefty's recovery onto the Iron Hands.
How about that Rock Slide flinch?
Oh, I didn't miss it. I missed that. I'm sorry for that. Wave Crash just going to be doing the final bit of damage onto the Gyarados, and now we have the Iron Hands versus the world. I believe 4 Pokemon still. You got Adrian's Indeedee, you got Armor Rouge in the back, you still have Tatsugiri in the Dondozo's mouth. The Wild Charge is going to be doing as much damage as it possibly could with those defense boosts and the bulk. And you're still in. You still got those lefty recoveries.
It's true, but there's one more move on that Dondozo that's pretty nice for longevity, and it's called Rest. Now, Lumberry was used up already, so Adrian's probably not just going to be clicking Rest for no reason. But it's going to be tough for this +1 Dozo. Remember, it was intimidated earlier by Gyarados to be able to get the KO. And look at that. We're going to see Wild Charge taking out that Dondozo. So all of a sudden here, it's looking a little different. Tatsugiri is now going to be on the field. But Iron Hands is at just below 50% health, if not at 50% now due to leftovers recovery. So you've got Tatsugiri and then what? One more? Yeah, Indeedee coming out here. That's 2 Pokemon you've got to knock out with just your one, and that's a lot to ask for. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So the thing now is the Tatsugiri is going to be offering mostly offensive pressure onto this This is actually, yeah, leftovers Iron Hand. So Dracomir going to be coming through, going to do so much damage because there is no special defense bulk on Iron Hands, and that is going to be it. Both players recognize the situation. Jake going to be shaking the hand of Adrien, and Adrien Hurley is going to be your champion this evening.
Wow. Wow. Lots of respect between these two players here, going over, shaking each other's hands, and yeah, just a really well-played tournament from Adrien. Adrien knew exactly what to do into this really common team right now. And, you know, Jake played this really well, too. It's just that Adrien was like, okay, I know exactly what to do here. He's charted it out, and that's really what a lot of players do when they're bringing their own unique concept to the game. They like to bring their own special spice, and Adrien has certainly done that. I'm a part of the team building group that, you know, that we have, the Lily Pad Boys, and so, you know, we've got lots of fun. They've been every single night for the past few weeks. They hop in call, they go over matchups left and right, making sure they know what to do. I mean, they're always prepared, and so it's no surprise to me that, you know, Adrien showed up here today. In fact, I picked him up. We came here together, and he's like, yeah, I feel pretty good about this. Like, you know, it is what it is. And Jake had the same mentality. He's like, look, you know, I just want to show up, try to get a win, and try to do my best. So you have these two really great players coming to finals, and, you know, try and giving it their all.
Yeah, we got to talk about like the New Balance team that did extremely well at Hartford, and that's like the new thing on the block. Obviously, like Palafin Balance has been extremely strong, and you know, at the end of Regulation B or Series 2, however you want to call it now, and then towards the beginning of Regulation C, Palafin Balance was doing really well, but we really saw that adaptation of Iron Hands coming into the meta at Hartford, and it did really well. I know a bunch of Iron Hands were in that top cut at Hartford specifically, but still, like, even with the new thing on the block with New Balance, with the Gyarados, Iron Hands, Chiyu, Amoonguss, Tinglu, Fluttermane core, it still can have trouble against a player that has team built extremely well with the cores, you know, Dondozo, Tatsugiri, and Nini Armarouge, and Tyranitar, and Lycanroc. You still have to figure out how you're going to be able to handle that. Like, obviously, we mentioned this before. Armarouge and DD might not be as strong, but you could still be threatening in the hands of a great player that's able to see what your opponent wants to do. And New Balance obviously has been around for about a month now.
Yeah.
Especially like recently, within the last 2 weeks, you could definitely see that Adrien just knew how to approach that matchup and was able to just exploit a bunch of the switch-ins and a bunch of the lead matchups going into it, and then was just ultimately able to come out on top with the 2-0 win.
These players also had the opportunity to play against each other round 4. Adrien opted to waive that, and so in doing so, you know, he saved the information for this battle. It's like he knew that the two of them were about to face off in finals later on, and so, you know, in these final rounds in tournaments like this, first of all, you know, I just want to go and say that you're not supposed to go out and tell your opponent to forfeit. You're not supposed to purposely lose, nothing like that. But players often, when it comes down to it, you know, if you're in the final rounds and you're not trying to give your opponent information or time to really think about what your team is all about, sometimes you go, you know what, I'm pretty sure I'm going to make top cut, so I'm going to opt to not win, you know, not take this series right now, and I will see you later.
Especially at a local, where if you're at a regional and you're maybe like 8-0, and maybe you want to be 9-0 to have better resistance going into day 2 Swiss and then potentially into a top cut, that's when it might not matter. It'll matter more because you want to be playing it out because you want to have better resistance for day 2. But obviously here at a local, you know, if you're 3-0 and you're pretty much going to be having good resistance anyway, playing against someone that's also probably going to be making it to top cut, having the ability to make sure that you're not giving away your secrets for your team is just extremely important, because that difference could matter later in the match.
It's true. And, you know, with this being open team sheet as well, it's not that he's hiding anything about his team. It's hiding how he plays the team. And I just want to say, you know, Jake's team, just because you saw it get, you know, beaten 2 games here, does not mean that a different player could come along and play this differently. I mean, Jake did not utilize Chiyu Flutter, and he recognized that it probably isn't good into Lycanroc T-Tar or into Dozo Tatsugiri if Adrien was trying to bring that as well. So, but, you know, he didn't know Adrien was going to try to lead Armarouge and DD every time, but maybe now he does. And so the question is, okay, how does this historically go on from here? When these players face off in the next big tournament, is Adrien going to play the same way? And if he does Jake pick up on this and go, okay, I know that by turn 2 or turn 3 he's going to swap in that Dozo. What can I do to play this a little bit better to change up my state of game? And that's exactly why Adrien chose to not play round 4 of regular Swiss and to save this for finals. That's exactly it.
Yeah, and then you just saw like it's a best of three. There's not a lot of time to adapt. You obviously saw the quick 2-0 from Adrien, but maybe if there
Yeah.
was a game three and a best of five, maybe you could have seen that adaptation with the Chi and Fluttermane, because then you would realize, yeah, Adrian's only going to be leading the Indeedee Armorers. Most likely not going to be bringing the Lycanroc and Tyranitar. Maybe Dondozo and Tatsugiri are still in the back somewhere,
Yeah.
but I think at that point, Adrian could also realize, maybe if you do switch it up, maybe I have a different game plan
Sure.
going into the Chi and Fluttermane as well.
Hey, couldn't have said it better myself. Well, hey, thanks so much everyone for watching, and a big shout out to Uptime Academy for allowing us to host this event here today. We hope to bring more in the future. Come the fall, when it comes time to have locals once again in the new series. For all of you not aware, North American International Championships will be occurring later this month, starting June 29th or June 30th, going through July 2nd, and then after that, Worlds, or the third week in August in Yokohama, Japan. So lots to look forward to in terms of Pokemon action, but from us here, it's probably going to be a little bit into the fall unless we do something over the summertime that's for fun or something casual, that sort of thing. But
Hmm.
keep enjoying Pokemon. Hope all of you enjoy, and yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So we're going to be signing off. My name is Andrew. That is going to be Ryan, our head TO for this evening. We're going to be signing off. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and stay tuned for our next event soon.